Brief history of physiology. From Aristotle to Walter Cannon. Physiology is the scientific study of how the human body functions. It seeks to answer how questions about life, explaining the mechanisms that allow cells, tissues, organs, and organ systems to work together to maintain normal body function. The development of physiology was not the achievement of a single individual, but the results of contributions made by several great scientists over many centuries. Among the most influential are Aristotle, Erasistratus, Galen, William Harvey, Claude Bernard, and Walter Cannon. The story begins with the Greek philosopher Aristotle, 384 to 322 BC, who is widely regarded as the father of biology. Aristotle carefully observed plants and animals, classified living organisms, and proposed that every organ has a specific function. He was among the first scholars to speculate about the functions of the human body. However, because experimentation and human dissection were uncommon during his lifetime, many of his physiological explanations were based on philosophical reasoning rather than scientific evidence. For example, he believed the human heart was the seat of intelligence, memory, and emotions, while the brain merely cooled the blood. Although these ideas were later proven incorrect, Aristotle laid the intellectual foundation upon which later scientists would build. A few decades later came Erasistratus, 304 to 250 BC, a Greek physician who worked in Alexandria. Unlike Aristotle, Erasistratus shifted attention from describing body structures to understanding how they functioned. Through careful observation and human dissection, he studied the heart, blood vessels, nerves, and other organs. He described the heart as a pump and distinguished sensory nerves from motor nerves, making one of the earliest attempts to explain body function using physical principles rather than philosophy. For this reason, he is traditionally regarded as the father of physiology. Nevertheless, Erasistratus was not free from error. He believed that arteries normally carried pneuma, vital spirit or air, instead of blood, and misunderstood certain aspects of circulation.
Despite his mistakes, his emphasis on organ function marked the birth of physiology as a separate scientific discipline. The next major figure was Galen, AD 130 to 201, one of the greatest physicians of the Roman Empire. Galen expanded the work of his predecessors by performing numerous animal dissections and experiments. He wrote hundreds of medical texts covering anatomy, physiology, and medicine, becoming the leading medical authority for over 1,300 years. Although many of his conclusions were later shown to be incorrect because they were based mainly on animal anatomy, his writings preserved and expanded physiological knowledge, greatly influencing medical education throughout the ages and the Renaissance. A major breakthrough occurred during the 17th century with the work of the English physician William Harvey, 1578 to 1657. Harvey transformed physiology into an experimental science by demonstrating that the heart pumps blood continuously through a closed circulatory system. Through careful observation, measurement, and experimentation, he disproved the long-held belief that blood was constantly produced and consumed by the body. His discovery of blood circulation remains one of the greatest achievements in medical history and showed that physiological questions could be answered through scientific experimentation rather than speculation. Building upon Harvey's experimental approach, the French physiologist Claude Bernard, 1813 to 1878, is recognized as the father of experimental physiology. Bernard believed that every physiological theory must be tested through carefully designed laboratory experiments. His greatest contribution was the concept of the milieu interieur, internal environment. He observed that although the external environment constantly changes, the fluid surrounding the body's cells remains remarkably stable. Bernard proposed that this stability is essential for life because cells can function properly only when their internal surroundings are kept within narrow limits. Bernard's concept was later expanded by the American physiologist Walter Cannon, 1871 to 1945. In his 1932 book The Wisdom of the Body, Cannon introduced the term homeostasis. He explained that the body achieves this stability through coordinated regulatory mechanisms, especially in negative feedback systems, which continuously detect deviations from normal and activate responses to restore balance. Homeostasis is now regarded as one of the central concepts of physiology because virtually every organ system, from the cardiovascular and respiratory systems to the endocrine and nervous systems, works together to maintain constancy. Note: Claude Bernard did introduce the concept of the stable internal environment, but Walter Cannon gave the concept its modern name, homeostasis.